Well, hello! I'd like to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I'm using this week. And yes, it's kind of toasty, so I'm running the air conditioner, but I turned off the compressor so it's only running the fan, just to keep a little air moving around in here. So, let's dive into the pens. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, sure, I'll come up with a fancy topic by the end. Let me know. So let's take a look at it. So from left to right, this week you saw a first impression of a Kitab with the sticker on it. And yeah, I filmed it recently enough that it's still there. You would have seen the review of the Camlin Sovereign, which I mispronounced as Sovereign the first time. The Visconti Mirage, which had no video this week, but here it is. A Platinum 3776. Sorry, drawing a blank there for a second. An Italix Harsens Essential with something on it. Yeah, whatever it was, it wiped right off. Oh, there's some more. I have my suspicions, and it's related to a first impression that I filmed in that batch of 9 I did last week. Platinum President. Yum. Centropen 2069, which is a student pen. And finally, a Japanese handmade pen. So, like I admitted last week, this is filmed minutes after I finished filming last week's. But what I'm doing, my parents are visiting, and I thought I better get this in early because I don't know when or if I'll get the chance to film. And I feel like as a YouTuber, that's one of those things I should try to do if possible, is keep my videos going. So, I'm just filming out of the collection, because that's another thing I admitted last week. I actually have more pens inked up than you see on Pens in Use. That's how I get a variety every week, and sometimes I get a feel for, oh, you're really not ever writing with that one. You must really hate it, don't you? Oh, maybe I won't keep it. So, as always, I'll be writing in my Bomo art journal. Alright, so I almost started out by writing the name of the pen instead of the date. So this is a Katab. This is a beautiful, beautiful pen made in Palestine. And I feel safe now saying that, which I wasn't when I did the review, and I'll tell you why. First of all, that's what it says. But I'll tell you the other reason I feel safe saying that is because prior to 1948, it was called Palestine, and after 1948, of course, we had Israel. So this would have been the prior to 1948 edition. So Kitab, the ink in it is Diamine, Sargasso C. Which is just a nice dark blue ink. My next pen, which I reviewed this week, Camlin Sovereign. See the video description if you missed the review, or check out my channel. But I always put links to every one of these pens if I've done a video on them. My ones that I haven't done a video on should be getting smaller and smaller over time, because I'll at least have a first impression. Anything EIGN, anything new I purchase, I make sure I film a first impression before it ever appears in Pens in Use. But anything I bought prior to Pens in Use still sometimes gets a well, has not had a first impression. This would have been one of them. And I need to try that ink in a much broader nib at some point. Visconti. I can't fit these pens on. There we go. This is a Visconti Mirage. Which is getting low. I have the feeling it won't be here next week because it's just running out of ink. There's a broad nib. Actually, everything yellow that you're going to see today is running low. This is a Platinum Classic. Citrus Black, which you can tell from the color change is an iron gall ink. And just for giggles and snorts, let's just let that dry a second. It's a fairly quick drying ink, except right now when I want it to dry quickly, because it won't, we'll smear. So here it is 2 weeks ago. Let's just zoom in on that as much as we can. Right above the word Mirage, I'm going to write the word Mirage so you can see the difference. So that's the kind of color change you get when this ink sits for a while. And I'll try to remember to come back at the end of the video, see if they've done that, but I might forget. And it's not a live stream, so you can't remind me. Although it'd be nice if I could live stream with the equipment I use. Goal for one day, maybe. Alright, this is surprisingly not close to empty. When I said all the yellow ones are close to empty, there. This one isn't, apparently not one of them. So Platinum 3776 with a coarse nib, which means double broad, and the ink in it is Rohrer and Klingner. Helianthus. And I'm going to go off script and not do these in the order that they were written. I feel like comparing this pen, because I'm fairly certain this will be empty next week. Oh yeah. I see nothing in the converter. So hopefully you can get through this much. So probably if I were scheduling this properly and filming this when I should, it wouldn't have appeared in this pen's in use at all. Oops, not 377. I'm wasting ink. Platinum President. Broad with a cursive italic. And the ink in it is Private Reserve. Buttercup. We'll just do a quick swatch of it right here. I'll do it second so that I can keep them in the same order. I'll put the Helianthus here. And you can decide for yourself, or maybe even look at the high-res writing sample and decide what you think. My next pen, had trouble with it last week, but you know, it's only been just a few minutes since I actually filmed last week's. In an Italix, Harsens Essential. This is one of those inks that really should get cleaned out of a pen every so often. I have the fine nib in it, and the ink in it is Noodler's Periwinkle. I have a student pen. This is one of the reviews that's upcoming in the next few weeks. The pen will probably be empty by then. So this would have been one I purchased before I started doing first impressions videos. This is a Centropen. $2069. And the nib in it, or I'm sorry, the ink in it is Herbin Orange Indien. Which stands for Indian Orange. And finally, a pen I have trouble capturing on camera because this is actually a demonstrator. This is a Japanese handmade pen. I know very little about it. It is another review that's upcoming in the next few weeks. I don't have a nib size for it. All I know is it's a hard nib. So I'll put an H. And the ink in it is Noodler's Rattler Eel Red. Alright, before I leave my B-roll footage, I just was curious about something. So, well, not curious, but I just wanted to give you a little look at things to come. And then I realized that some of the things to come are already empty because I was having so much fun writing with them. But I filmed a whole bunch of first impressions just recently. So I wanted just to, out of the 9 that I filmed just recently, I just want to give you a look. And you can see a close-up picture on my community tab. This is a Toes 991. One of the really good ones. Although not the greatest. This is an Imperial Sparta. I have discovered since filming it that there's a crack and the trim ring is loose. So I'm going to try an epoxy repair there. We'll see what happens. This is, I gotta look at the nib to remember. This is, what the hell is it? Rex Pen 80. The Rex Pen 2000 has the hooded nib. This is a Rex Pen 80. With the Dawa Feta. This is another Japanese handmade pen, only this one's an eyedropper. With a red ink window, which you'll see in the video. And does that say special iridium? Yep. Franken Pen. This is a Centropen with a cap that doesn't match it. It's a 5270. The cap on it is from a 5066, but it fits. And this type of nib was stylish in Western Europe for a while. I have a Kaveco V14S and a couple other pens with that kind of nib. This is my Rex Pen 2000. That's going to be a bugger to remember which one's which, so I feel like maybe it's time to start putting tags on my pens. Or give some away. This was a fun one to film. Shark Pen. And it turns out it's a really good writer. So, yeah, my review of that is, or first impression of that anyway, is positive. And finally, out of the ones that I still have inked up, because like I said, several of them are empty already, I have this amazing Selector with, check out that gorgeous finish. This thing is a prize, and it writes really, really well. So that's one I can't wait to share with you. So I don't know which first impression I'll put up on Monday, but because it's a ways from now. But it could be one of those. It could be one of the other first impressions I already have filmed. So I guess I'll figure it out sometime before Monday. So those are the pens and inks that I'm using this week, and you got to see a little glance at what's upcoming. And you saw I have a few other, on the community tab again, you saw a screenshot where I showed some of the other videos that are waiting. So I have a lot of first impressions waiting to be published. Maybe you have a thought which one you'd like me to show next. So if so, feel free to leave a comment. I don't know. So if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And actually my real comment, the one I had planned, I'm looking at doing a giveaway. I want to protect people's identities. If anybody has any advice for me about doing a giveaway, I would welcome either comments, or if you want to contact me privately, I do have a private email on the channel you can find on I think it's my About Me tab. Feel free to contact me there more in private. I want to make sure, obviously I'll have to know temporarily who the winners and their addresses. I don't want to keep addresses, don't want to keep email addresses, don't want to keep any of that. But I recognize it may have to be temporarily stored until winners are drawn and everything. It's not me making money. I'm getting rid of a few duplicates. I'm getting rid of a few just that I've fallen out of love with. Not getting rid of any junk. Might be getting rid of a few cheaper pens, but anyway, I'm going to do a video on it soon. That's why I'm just looking and soliciting some advice. So anyway, leave a comment down below. So I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.